I used to post these videos a while back, and I called them impact videos. And if you want the backstory to why I do it, there's about 10 or 11 more on my Facebook page in the videos. And you can see why I started doing this and what my purpose is and all that. But this one is called I Won't Back Down. And if you saw the Tom Petty video I posted a while back, that's the song that kind of goes with it a little bit. Not that the song is the inspiration for it or anything, but I just usually pick a song title for the name of the series and post a video of that song just to kind of give it a little reference. But this one is called, like I said, I Won't Back Down. And it's about, I used to think that being a Christian, being a witness, meant that you were always nice and polite and quiet. And, the Bible talks about being meek and things like that. But then something happened at work a few weeks ago, and I just started wondering, is that the best way to handle things all the time? And it kind of made me question that way of thinking. If there's times to not be quiet and nice and meek and to speak your mind and things like that. So I just kind of started thinking, how did Jesus deal with things like that? What did Jesus do in those type of situations? And I've been reading this book from John Eldredge called Beautiful Outlaw, and it's a popular story. Everybody's heard it, but this book kind of just puts it in a little bit different light. So I thought I'd just read just a page or two from this book and kind of give us a starting point on that topic. It says, the Passover of the Jews was near, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple he found people selling cattle, sheep, and doves, and the money changers seated at their tables. Making a whip of cords, he drove all of them out of the temple, both the sheep and the cattle. He also poured out the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. He told those who were selling the doves, take these things out of here. Stop making my Father's house a marketplace. His disciples remembered that it was written, zeal for your house will consume me. In 2 verses, he empties the temple, a report that reads like the crack of a bullwhip. But take the action slowly. First, Jesus observes the shenanigans. It makes him furious. Then he takes the time to make a weapon. Where did he get those cords? That required some looking around. Having found them, he had the patience and forethought to weave them together effectively to make a usable whip. He knows what it takes to move large, sedentary cattle and self-righteous profiteers. There's time enough here to cool off if this is merely an outburst of anger. But no, this is a planned and sustained aggression, particularly unsettling for pacifists. Follow the flow of the text. It says he then used that whip to drive all of them out of the temple, both the sheep and the cattle. The livestock would have been kept in some sort of corral. They would have been standing for hours, sleepy. An angry man flying upon them with a whip would ignite panic, mass panic. Animals feed upon one another's fear in seconds. Picture cattle and sheep running for their lives, crashing down the corrals, their hooves sliding frantically on the tiles, making them even more desperate. We have a stampede here. It then says he poured out the coins of the money changers and sent their tables tumbling. The money changers, think men who make their living through extortion, are reported to have been sitting at those tables. How easy is it to move carefully and quickly from a seated position while removing your legs from the table that is being overturned in front of you? More panic. Meanwhile, the coins, Jesus doesn't permit them to gather their money and move off in an orderly fashion. He dumps the coins, scatters them. This is explosive. You probably had a small handful of chains fall off a counter. They burst in every direction like a jar of marbles. Imagine the chaos of hundreds and hundreds of coins erupting off the stone floors. Now layer all this together. The animals would have panicked in every direction, their keepers running after them, shouting, trying to get control, which only incinerates the panic. Add the greedy money changers scrambling around the ground, grasping at their careening coins. Imagine the noise, bellowing of frightened livestock, mingled with the crashing of corrals, tables, coins, and the angry shouts of the incensed men. Over this, the shouts of Jesus. It is absolute pandemonium. Someone screaming fire in a casino would not be far from the reality. This is a fierce, intentional man, to be sure, but his passions are neither reckless nor momentary. In the midst of the fury, there is the touching tenderness towards the doves. These were in cages. If Christ were to hurl them to the floor as he did the tables, the birds, innocent as well, doves, they would be hurt. So he commands them to be removed. Could a small, unintimidating figure accomplish such a sustained riot? To pull off driving all of them out of the temple would require more than a few seconds and repeated blows. This is a sustained assault. If a frail man with a meek voice tried this, he'd be logjammed by the sheer number and inertia of the traffic. Jesus is a locomotive, a juggernaut. For all practical purposes here, he is the bull in the china shop. This is our Jesus. But is this the Jesus of our worship songs? The religious fog sneaks in to obscure Jesus with lines comparing him to a rose trampled on the ground. Helpless, lovely Jesus. Vegetarian, pacifist, tranquil. Oh, wait, that was Gandhi, not Jesus. Can you picture Gandhi or Buddha storming into the polling place of a local election, shouting, overturning tables, sending the participants fleeing? Now throw a small carnival into the mix, which they also need to rout. Impossible. Whoever did this would have to be really committed to clear the building, fierce and intentional. This is a breathtaking quality, especially when compared to our present age where doubt masquerades as humility, passivity cloaks as rest, and emasculated indecision poses as laid-back enlightenment. Oh, Jesus could be soft, and he certainly was humble, but his fierce intentionality is riveting to watch. So that just got me thinking a little bit. Do you need people to like you all the time for you to be a good witness, to be nice to people all the time in every situation, and to not cause a scene, to not get upset and do things that make people not like you? Do you have to have everybody like you to be a good witness? And I think about this story, and I think about the money changers and all the guys with the animals and everything selling them in the temple. Do you think they liked Jesus after he did that? Do you think they were, oh yeah, he was right, to do that? No, they were probably pretty mad at him. They probably didn't like him at all. So, is it important for people to like you to be a good witness? Or do you need to stand up for what you believe in? Do you need to say what's on your mind in certain situations, even though you might make people not like you? You might make a scene. So that's just the first part of this. It'll probably be in 2 or 3 parts, probably just 2. But that's the first thing I just want you to think about is that story. And then think about all the situations in your life when you've been in a similar situation, not that dramatic or extreme maybe, but where something happened and you wondered if you should have stood up and said something or done something, or if you just let it go, and why or why not that you did that. There's a video I'm going to post right after this video, and it's from The Matrix, and it's extremely violent, so if you don't like violence, then I don't recommend you watch it. But it just, the way it is in the video with Neo and Trinity, it's the lobby scene, kind of at the end of the movie, and they're going there and all the guards are coming at him, and it's just chaos in there. But through the chaos, they're just very calm. They just know what they have to do. They're not, running around crazy, losing their minds. They're very calm and relaxed. They just go in there and they do what they got to do while stuff is happening all around them. And when they're done, the room is just clear. And obviously, I know Jesus didn't have guns and Jesus didn't kill anyone or anything like that. But like I said, this video just kind of reminded me of a little bit. But like I said, it's violent and guns and shooting and everything. But if you want to watch it, then feel free. It just kind of reminded me a little bit. And we'll finish this here in a little bit. Thanks.